The heavy shot bow is probably one of the most unusual and unorthodox shot types in the Monster Hunter series. It debuted in the Monster Hunter Cross and Generation games, and unfortunately, like most of the other shot types, it was overshadowed by the power of the meme bow, aka the Teostra bow. But in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, that all changed. Heavy shot is now one of the top dog shots, and in this video I will be covering some of the best heavy bows, the mix sets to cover them, and much more. So let's go ahead and dig in. So what exactly does the heavy shot specialize in? It excels at taking advantage of monsters' weak spots. If a monster has a really big, squishy weak spot, the heavy shot can inflict enough massive damage, or I guess the technical term is flinch, to actually lock a monster in place, also known as the stagger lock. It's also amazing at breaking body parts as well. So if you're trying to get a body part break for a material, or just trying to abuse a monster and keep it in its place, then the heavy shot is your best friend. For the mix sets I'm going to be showing, I am going to include a budget set as well. For those people that do not have a powerful or the god charm exactly. It's still a powerful set, it's just not going to be as the peak performance as you would if you had the perfect charm. So let's start off with one of my favorite heavy bows. So first up we have my favorite heavy bow set, the Raw Powerhouse, the Harbinger's Battle Bow. This bow comes from the Hunter Stout Bow line, so you can start working on this from the get-go. Skills for this set include Challenger Level 2, Heavy Up, True Shot Up, Weakness Exploit, and Critical Boost. Decoration-wise, you're going to need 5 irregular decorations for the True Shot, 1 Heavy Level 4 for the Heavy Up, and 2 Level 1 Weakness Exploit or Tenderizer decorations. The charm for this set is a Heavy Up 6 triple slot, which is pretty demanding, so it's ultimately optional. I would really recommend Ammo Saver, Expert to increase the affinity, and Attack Up if you want. Now, some of you may wonder why I'm using not using the Barrage headpiece, and that is due to the fact that the bow would unlock Pierce Level 4, which would hinder your damage output, and also just you wouldn't be able to stagger lock a monster effectively or efficiently. Now, the reason why this bow is so powerful is due to the fact that it just has really high raw. I mean, 350 is, I think it might be one of the highest raw packing bows, but it also uses power coating level 1 and 2, and its level 2 and 3 shot are both heavy level 5. It's just overall insane damage. This will probably be your main set to focus on. Now for the other 2 bow sets, each with a god charm in a budget form, are pretty much identical, just the bows are different, but I will cover them due to the shot and coatings. First off, we have the Elderfrost from the Deviant Gemudo. For the god charm form, I sadly don't have the right charm for it, but you would need a Tenderizer 6 triple slot, which would give you all the listed skills plus Weakness Exploit. I would only make this set if you had this charm. As for the budget form, we have the same exact skills, only Challenger 1, which isn't a massive loss, but the charm you would need, at most, would be a Tenderizer 4 triple slot, which is fairly easy to obtain now, especially with the Bracky Charm Farm event quest. This bow has a heavy Pierce heavy shot combo, which is unusual, but with the Valor style, you will mostly be hitting the heavy level 5 shots at all time. Plus, this bow uses Power Coat level 2 as well as all elemental shot coatings. It also packs a nice defense boost, which is a little bit of the icing on the cake. Any monsters weak to ice are going to have a bad day with this set. Now moving on to the Soul Seer bow set, as mentioned, it's pretty much identical to the Elderfrost set, so there's no reason to really go through and explain everything, but let's talk about the shots and the coatings. For shots, it uses a rapid heavy combo, which is really incredible, especially for Adept style and Valor style. And the coatings are also the same as the Elder Frost, except it swaps out Para for Sleep, or vice versa. But this bow uses Para, and the Elder Frost uses Sleep. There's also, I feel personally that there's more monsters weak to water, so the Soulseer bow, in my opinion, is going to have more usability versus the Elder Frost. So if I was to rank these three bows and their sets, I would recommend the Harbinger's Battle Bow as your top tier, followed by the Soulseer, and then the Elder Frost. All three bows and sets are good, but the Harbinger's Battle Bow is just juicy. Now for this last section, I want to talk about three things: the recommended styles, hunter arts, and the critical distance, how it functions for the heavy bow. So first off, as for the styles, the most powerful is obviously Valor style. The fact that you can pump quick power shots makes stagger locking really easy, though it is a very high risk, high reward style. If Valor is not your thing, or you're just learning the ropes on bow, I would recommend Adept style. It's a bit slower compared to Valor, but it is a lot safer and you could still dish out a lot of damage. I highly recommend using Haste Rain hunting art, that way you can boost your overall DPS. Last but not least, I sorta would recommend Aerial style. Since Aerial got a buff, or Aerial Bow got a buff, you can now do 2 power shots instead of 1, and then follow up with a melee attack or a regular shot in the air. So now you can deal a bit more damage. Though I wouldn't use this on dangerous quests like G Hypers or G Deviants, since they could probably one-shot you and you're going to be like, extremely close to the monster. If you're hunting with friends, having fun, and you just want to try it out, then I would say go for it. Now for the hunting arts. There are only really 3 that work best for the heavy bow, one of them being Absolute Evasion, since it charges pretty quickly and it provides a quick escape out of bad situations. This works best for Valor and Aerial style. The second would be Haste Rain. This is pretty much great on all styles since it increases your movement speed and charging speed. It's just overall a DPS enhancer. And last is the new hunting art, which was added in Generations Ultimate, the Tactical Retreat, or what I like to call the Ultimate Style Art. This is a mix of Absolute Evasion, but it also charges your bow to deliver a solid hit. It also ignores critical distance, so even if you're at point blank distance from the monster, you will deal max damage. Probably one of my favorite arts, but it does take a little bit of practice to learn. Last but not least, let's talk about the critical distance for the heavy shot. Now, pretty much everyone knows about this. If you shoot too close, you won't deal the proper amount of damage. If you shoot too far, the arrow loses its power and you lose damage as well. But when it comes to the heavy shot, it all depends on when the arrow begins to descend. I feel like I won't be able to properly explain this, so I'm going to give a couple of examples. So first here, we use this poor Rathalos as a guinea pig. We shoot too close, and you see that the arrow doesn't descend at all, and as you can tell, it didn't deal critical damage. Now, we back away a little bit from the Rathalos, and you will see the arrow actually make its descend, and then voila, a critical hit. Now, there's a couple ways that you can work the arch to, where you can always land a critical hit. If you're somewhat close to a monster, you can literally yeet the arrow by aiming straight up, and it will just do a complete drop onto the monster, and it will do a critical hit. The benefit of how this crit distance works with the heavy shot is distance really isn't an issue for you, because if you're shooting really far, the arrow is going to descend, and it'll always be a critical hit. It's a little bit of tricky, but I hope you guys somewhat understand what I'm trying to explain here. I'm sorry I'm bad at explaining this. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up this Mixset video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it pretty helpful. Be sure to keep a lookout for more Mixset videos. I do have a lot in the works at the moment. If you liked it, or if you have any questions, drop a comment and I will respond and try to help you as best as my knowledge. But this is Apex Gaming, and to all of you, happy hunting.